All right, welcome and shalom, everybody. We are live. Test, test, test. Looks like the mic is working. Well, hey, Pinch, how you doing tonight? Welcome and shalom. Good evening to Donnie. How you doing tonight, Donnie? Hope you and your mom are doing well. And Pinch, how you doing? Hope you and your family are doing well. I hope you're healing up from your deal there. Good evening, Kathy. Alive and kicking here. Hope all is well with you. Good. Yeah, all is good with me. Thank you. Yeah, I hope you're feeling better. And you're live and kicking. That's good. um, all right, so welcome, guys. And I'm just trying to pull my screen out a little bit so I can see it easier. All right. I'm not sure if you guys can see when I do something with the screen, but anyway, that's what I'm doing. All right, so are there errors in the Bible? Well, yeah. Yeah, we do know that. You're feeling much better? Awesome. Glory to God. You're recuperating. You're restoring. Anyway, sometimes all you can do is just give it time, huh? I remember last time I got sick. I don't get sick very often. It's very rare, but last time I got sick, I don't know if it was last January or the January before. Oh man, I was sick for days. It was the flu, because that's what the flu is. Remember the good old days when people had a flu? Man, I had a flu. It was so bad, I felt like I was going to die. And I say, really? Yeah, I felt like I was going to die, man. I was so sick. You felt like you're going to die? Yep. But now it's like, oh, I bet it's that one horrible thing. Well, hey, Grace, how you doing tonight? Shalom to you, too. Salutations to Grace. Hope you had a wonderful Minnesota day. Oh, hey, D. On my way in the apartment from being outside. Oh, are ya? It was that nice out. You get to sit outside. Well, we got it kind of nice. It was in the 30s today. I think it was in the upper 30s. I didn't go outside. I'm bunkered in or hunkered in or whatever. I made a mistake today. I went and laid down and took a nap. Well, while I was laying down to take a nap, the dogs were in there, and I took my phone and I brought up dogs barking on YouTube, and I played it, and they got all rowdy. And then to calm them down, I made cats meowing on YouTube. Played a cat meowing, and a fight broke out. Don't play dogs barking if you got more than one dog, because it makes them fight. Anyway, they had a little fight. It was that dumb video. They did not like the dogs barking video. Anyway, glad you're having nice weather there, D. All right. All right. So, all right. Worked on a few videos today, not much. The last night when I got off, I got my walls done in my hallway. Well, 3/4 of it is done and primed and everything. So my hallway's almost done. I was up painting primer on my walls till all hours of the night. So anyway, kind of staying up too late. But it gets fun. I get going, and what I want is when I go to bed is to have things done. So when I wake up, I get a fresh look at it, and I come out and see my hallway is different. My whole house is different. Wow, am I getting knocked off right now? Come on, you. Come on, you. All right, let me pull up my. Really, what does this sun look like? I'm starting to forget. Yeah, we got a little bit of clouds here in the winter. But one good thing, I'll tell you, one good thing about the clouds, at least in the winter, it keeps the heat in. Because whenever there's no clouds, the heat it gets really cold. If there's no cloud, the cloudier it is, the warmer it warms up. But when it's sunny, it's really weird because it can be a lot colder. It gets a lot colder when the sun comes out when there's no clouds. But with the low cloud, that's hard to say. Low cloud ceiling it keeps the warm air in. For some reason, I'd rather have it colder with sunny than warm and clouds. All right, I am still hooked up. Today is my sister's birthday. I bought a bouquet for her and visited her for about 2 hours. Nice, D. Happy birthday to your sister. That's a good sister. Nice sister. Lovely D. I'm sure your sister appreciates and loves you. Well, hello to Donnie. Welcome. Hope you and your mom are doing well. Hope everybody and your families are doing well. Yeah, so I'm going to go over some new or some Bible errors in the New Testament. And I guess when I get done, if anybody wants to come in and chat, you can come in and chat. In and out for the night. Caught you on the catch you on the flip side. Yeah, thanks, Pinch. She does seem to kind of sort of like me. I told her she's the best sister in the world. Is she? That's nice, D. That is nice. You're a good sister. You're very nice, D. Sleep well, Pinch. Have a blessed day. Yes, everyone say goodnight. Bye, Pinch. Everyone say goodnight. Saying goodnight to Pinch. Went with Mom and saw my sister's newly finished house today, and we had a great meal together as a family. Really? That sounds really good. Love you all. Thanks. We love you too, Pinch. Siblings are a blessing, yes. Good night, brother. Yep. Good night to everybody who's turning in. And thanks for listening on the replay, for listening, because a lot of people don't. Probably about half my views are on the replay. So thanks for listening on the replay. Appreciate that. It's an hour away, but not too far now. Glad you had a good day today with your family too, Donnie. Yeah. Yep, nothing like family, huh? All right. So I keep having stuff pop up. Still getting used to this new laptop. It's not new. It's my old one. It's just a spare backup I bought. Kind of a cheap one a long time ago when I moved up here. And I used it for the garage and whatever. But anyway, it's working pretty good. Way better than my other one. And then, of course, my cat ripped all the keys off of my laptop, the other laptop. Usually I close it before I go to bed so the cats don't walk on it. Well, I did not close it. And the cat not only walked on it, but liked the way it felt. So the cat ripped the keys off of my keyboard on my laptop. I don't know if you ever tried to put a key back on a laptop. It's pretty much impossible. And I got half the keys ripped off. He had a good time with that. Little SOB. Busted my ASS wearing my cowboy boots. Slipped down a greasy wooden floor by the restroom at the restaurant. Ouch, really? Yeah. Yeah, those leather boots can leather bottom, those leather soles can be very slippery. I think that's why they make them into bowling shoes so they could slide because they slide so good. Oh no, Donnie. Hope you're okay. I can definitely relate. Yep, Grace had a pretty bad fall too. But I'm okay. First thing I said while being helped up was, "Floor's a little greasy, guys." Oh, yeah. Glad you didn't get hurt, Donnie. Yep. Yep. Not fun falling. In every decade, it gets a little harder to get back up. Anyway. All right. So, I hope you all had a wonderful Sunday. I know the football fans. Oh, I guess Minnesota Vikings lost their game. It was scripted to lose today. Anyway. Go Vikings. I went down like a sack of rocks, but I'm just a little bruised. Was like slipping on ice, happened so fast. Yep. Yeah, man, when your feet come out from under you like that, that can be dangerous. I did a lot of x-rays. Being an x-ray technician, obviously, I did a lot of x-rays. And yeah, when people slip on ice and slip where your feet come out from under you like that. See, when you trip and fall forward, your hands always go out and usually you're okay. But slipping where your feet come out, that's usually when you got a broken elbow, tailbone, dislocated shoulder, hand fracture, wrist. The Dolphins won. Hooray. I mean, sorry to hear. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know who they played. I saw it on my phone. Yeah, I don't know who they played. Knee and elbow. Yep, knees and elbows. All right. All right. Now the good news is there are some things, prices are starting to go down. I don't know if you guys noticed, but price of some food is going down. Our meat is going down up here again. That's really nice. A hamburger back down to, I don't know, 3 something a pound. First day after my fall, I felt it in my jaw. I wasn't aware of the other injuries. Really? In your jaw? Dang. Wait, that was the Bills. Sorry, wrong game. Yeah, I was gonna say it. I don't think they played the Dolphins. But yeah. Minnesota Vikings do that. I believe it's all scripted. Totally scripted. It's as scripted as the WWF wrestling. I think the WWF wrestling is actually more believable. Well, I'll be using Mom's Wonders walk in sauna shower with lights and massage jets. Really? Just you got one of those walk-in tubs. Those are good, those walk-in tubs, but the seal ends up eventually leaking. So it happens. But I've seen people put those in their houses because I've been, especially older folks. Some people have those, but yeah, the seal gets leaky on them. But they look kind of like they would be. It looks like a good idea though. Not as likely to slip, I guess. Still can, but not as likely. All right. So yeah, we'll go over some New Testament problems tonight. It's not gonna take forever, so after that, I'll put up a link if anyone wants to chat. 16 grand lifetime warranty. Does it against leaks? Yeah. Yep. Yeah, because they have to. Usually, they gotta customize your bathroom for that. And which is funny because the next people that buy the house, if they're younger, they will just tear that thing out and put a regular tub in it. Unfortunately. All right. You know what is crazy? I'm gonna get started here, but I'll just tell you real quick. So my last house, I spent all summer fixing it up. I painted inside, we painted outside, I painted inside. I fixed the windows, a couple cracked windows. I took the windows apart and fixed it myself. Put new glass in, caulked them. I just did all this work, and then at the very end, we had the carpeting come in and the linoleum for the kitchen and the bathroom, and it was done. And those people that bought the house at the closing, I said, "Well, I still have to get a couple things," and they said, "Yeah, go over there. Go over after. I could go over tomorrow and get the rest of my stuff in the driveway." Anyway, I go over there the next day. I kid you not, and I knock on the door, and I didn't see anybody, and I just put in a brand new front door with a window you could see right in. And I looked in my house I just sold, and they were tearing out that brand new carpeting. We just put it in, like as the place was going for sale. Like the week it went for sale, we put the new carpeting in, and I couldn't believe it. They were ripping it and tearing it and cutting it out and pulling up all that brand new carpeting. I could have screamed. Anyway, it was their house. They can do what they want. It is what it is. Anyway, so all right. Heavenly Father, thank you for gathering us this evening. We ask for your blessing on this gathering. We thank you for all things. We ask, as always, for wisdom and understanding. And we ask for healing, special healing prayers for Donnie and Grace and Pinch. Anybody else who needs healing, Father, we thank you for hearing our prayers. Glory be to you. Amen and amen. Sounds like something my brother would do. Yeah. Oh, man. I just couldn't even believe it that they were tearing that out. He placed his brand new kitchen right after buying his home. He had built. Yeah, that's crazy. Yep. Anyway, just crazy. All right. All right, guys. All right. I think there's a little problem screen sharing, so I'm just going to be reading. I'm reading from Oh shoot, I have to. Oh, it's too big for fit on the screen. I am at the tothink.org. Tothink.org, yes. Requires thinking. All right, tothink.org. And this is the Bible errors in the New Testament. Hold on a second. I'm talking about the Gospels. I'm going to pull up my chat. I can see you guys. Make sure I'm still hooked up. All right. There we go. Replace his roof because he wanted different color shingles. Yeah. I need better soles on my boots with rubber. Yeah. Tell you that patent leather soles, man, those are slippery. That's why people used to put those rubbers, they call them. They put make sure you remember your rubbers. Wear your rubbers. People used to put those rubber things on their patent leather shoes because they were so slippery. So they put those rubber things on so they wouldn't slip or get wet. You can do that, Donnie. Bring them to any Western store. It's inexpensive. Really? Yeah, Grace, mom jokes how ridiculous by that. How ridiculous by that walk-in shower bath was, yeah. All right. Well, I'm gonna try. Actually, I'm gonna try to screen share. Why the heck not? Now this has some stuff we've already gone over, but it's got some other stuff we haven't. So this is a different site we've not been on. Had some that look like this, but anyway, this is from the tothink.org. All right, just want to make sure you guys can see that. All right, and obviously, the genealogy. We'll start out here. The genealogies of Matthew and Luke. Woo, and this was not necessary. But anyway, they put that in because they're trying to prove that Jesus is the Messiah through the bloodline of King David. Well, that kind of ruins the whole. I see that's what happens when you add stuff later. Oh, later they decided he's God's son and he's God himself and all that. Well, and he's a virgin birth and all that, and that he's the Messiah and all that. So then they had to go back and put in these genealogies to prove he's a Messiah. And then later they said that he's God is his daddy, his father, blood father, bloodline through God. Well, you can't have a family tree when your dad's God. But anyway, so they added a family tree, which Matthew and Luke contradict each other. And if you go over to the real bloodline over here, you can see that not only is it contradicting, they get part of it right up to about here. And what I find really interesting, actually, if you look at this, I find this really interesting. See how Matthew doesn't even start Jesus' supposed bloodline until Abraham. Well, Luke starts it right from Adam and Eve. And you know what's really weird, though? Adam, Seth, Enos, Canaan. And then they got Canaan down here, too. And over here, they have Canaan up here under Enos, Melaleel, but they spelled it wrong. See, and that's another thing. The Old Testament tells you the names, but the New Testament spells them wrong. Like, look at Methuselah, the way that's spelled. Look at the way Mahalalel is spelled. Mahalalel is spelled wrong. Methuselah is spelled wrong. Noah is spelled wrong. Even Noah, they say no, N-O-E. Shem is Sem. Anyway, as you can see, then they added Canaan a second time. I'm not sure why. Anyway, as you can see, Eber is Heber. Peleg is Phalak. Look at that phallic symbol. Anyway, Peleg turned into Phalak. Ru turned into Ragu. Spaghetti. Serug, Saruk. See how the names, as it goes, it falls apart. And then you have Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, Judah. They're spelling errors, but spelling errors. Hezrom, Ezram, Ram, Aram. I mean, as you can see. And then it gets down to David. Now, this is... now, I will say that... this is kind of funny because even the Old Testament has its own problems with the contradictions. Because, I mean, you can take Old Testament bloodlines and compare them, and they contradict themselves. So I'm not saying that Old Testament doesn't have errors of its own. Believe me, it does. But then look, in Matthew and Luke, they're trying to prove that either Joseph is the daddy of Jesus or whatever. But they're trying to... I mean, the only way is that, anyway. So they're trying to trace his bloodline back to King David, but they make a mistake. There's so many mistakes. But as you can see, Solomon... Where's Solomon? Right here. So King David. Now, prophecy for the Messiah says that King David is going to come... the Messiah will come from the bloodline of King David, and it will come through King Solomon, through his children. But Luke has it wrong. They have David coming through Nathan, and that's not going to work. So see, now look at... So because David is coming through Nathan, which is not even prophesied, look at the rest. Look at what it does then to Luke's bloodline. You know what I mean? Completely jacks it up. And not that Matthew is perfect either, because these aren't really correct anyway. But either way, they both try to go down, and they both end at Joseph, but two different Josephs. One Joseph is Mary's dad. Mary's dad, Jesus' brother-in-law, their father-in-law. Mary's dad, if they had gotten married, I guess. There really is no wedding. Did you notice that? There is no wedding in the Gospels of Mary and Joseph. She's pregnant. Each gospel is a little bit different, but she's pregnant. We just saw in Luke, they're engaged to be married. Mary and Joseph are engaged to be married. She goes away, visits her cousins, comes back 6 months pregnant, and Joseph doesn't say anything. They just go off and register as a engaged couple. Where's the wedding? And then the baby's born? Wait a minute. There wasn't a wedding. I've never heard anybody mention that. There's never a wedding with Mary and Joseph. Hello. Any of you guys ever notice that? Mary and Joseph never had a wedding. They don't say nothing about no wedding. Anyway, there's so many contradictions, it just makes your head spin. Now, notes. Matthew and Luke also give contradictory genealogies for Zerubbabel. Matthew makes him a descendant of Solomon, David's son. Luke makes him the descendant of Nathan, also a son of David. Since Solomon and Nathan were brothers in 1 Chronicles 3:5, they cannot both be paternal ancestors of Zerubbabel. In fact, both genealogies are pointless, since both Matthew and Luke then go on to claim that Mary was impregnated by the Holy Spirit, not by Joseph. So really, what's the point of the bloodline, right? Since Mary was from the tribe of Levi, it is therefore impossible for Christ to have been the son of David as was required for the Messiah. Now, the possible answers. Luke records of lineage of Mary and Matthew that are of Joseph. Now, Mary's dad name was Joseph, so maybe they're her dad. But well, how is that good? That does nothing for Jesus' bloodline. And maybe Mary can try out for the Messiah, but anyway, you see how just kind of how a lot of this don't even make sense. Hey! Oh heck no! Hey, you! Picking on my other cat. Little brouhaha behind me here. The dogs came out of nowhere like, oh, where's the fight? Where's the fight? No, there ain't gonna be a fight. Go lay down. All right. The problem is that both genealogies explicitly end with Joseph. Further, Jewish genealogies were always traced through the paternal bloodline, okay, through the dad. There's nothing in either text to warrant such a conclusion. Now, Matthew's genealogy is not complete. He skips generations. This is true. Joram was actually the great-great-grandfather of Azariah. And Josiah was actually the grandfather of Jeconiah. However, this still does not explain the diverse genealogies of Zerubbabel. And it means that Matthew's assertion that there are 14 generations from captivity of Jesus is wrong. I mean, it sounded good, 14 and 14 and 14. You remember they did that? I mean, it sounds good, but it's not true. So the 14 generations of the... Oh, cat, turn the... Hold on a second. Let's turn the faucet on. Hey. What are you doing? You want to get a drink after that little fight. All right. Stop, you guys. Stop. All right. So, all right. In fact, all right. So it's actually so the 14 is actually 13, I think. I just turned the faucet on again. This is unreal. Oh, cats are just out to interrupt me, I guess. All right. All right. You hear that? Cat just turned the faucet on again. All right. Joram, this is true. The Joram was actually the great-great-grandfather of Azariah. Josiah was the grandfather of Jeconiah. However, this does not explain the diverse genealogies of Zerubbabel. Divergent. And it means that Matthew's assertion that there are 14 generations from the captivity to Jesus is wrong in Matthew 1:17. In fact, in Matthew's list, there's only 13 generations from captivity to Jesus, not 14 as he claimed. And we put that up on the screen one time. 13, 14, 14, and 13. And they used one name twice just to make it into 14. Anyway, one or both genealogies include maternal deviations. Yep. Oh, and The Jews always trace genealogies through the paternal, the daddy's bloodline. Matthew mentions 4 females, and they should not do that. You can't put the mommies in the bloodline. But they did. And not only did they put 4 women in the bloodline, but there were 4 women with, I guess some, some reputation, maybe problems, sexual reputation problems, like Tamar, Rahab, Ruth, and Bathsheba. And then I think they added Mary too. But only together with their husbands in the paternal line. They brought their husbands to the paternity line. All right. And then you got, actually, this prophecy is found in Zechariah. All right. Matthew confused 2 Old Testament characters. All right, sorry about that. Keeps turning the water on. All right. Now Matthew has confused 2 Old Testament characters. In Matthew 23:35, that upon you may come out all the righteous blood shed upon the earth, from the blood of righteous Abel unto the blood of Zacharias, son of Barachias, whom ye slew between the temple and the altar. The incidents that Jesus is alluding to is recorded in 2 Chronicles. Now, in 2 Chronicles, it goes like this. 2 Chronicles 24:20-21. And the Spirit of God came upon Zechariah, the son of Jehoiada, the priest, which stood above the people, and said unto them, Thus said God, why transgress your commandments of the Lord, that ye cannot prosper? Because ye have forsaken the Lord, he hath also forsaken you. And they conspired against him and stoned him with stones at the commandment of the king in the court of the house of the Lord. Now, however, the Old Testament records that is Zechariah was the son of Jehoiada, not Berechiah. Berechiah was actually the father of prophet Zechariah, who lived several decades after the death of his namesake. So these are wrong. 1 second. So these are all. And this is what nobody does usually ever when you're reading the New Testament. You're reading Matthew, Mark, Luke, John. People just don't go back to 2 Chronicles and see if what they're saying is right. They don't go back and read the bloodline to see if it's right, the family tree. They don't go back to Zechariah and see what's going on. And that's where people go wrong. If you don't know the Old Testament, you're gonna buy all kinds of errors. You're gonna believe all kinds of false things in the New Testament because you haven't read the Old Testament. And that was my mistake. I learned the New Testament first, and I believed everything at face value. I just took their word for everything, and didn't know my Old Testament. And then anything that didn't make sense, I just had cognitive dissonance, where I just had to force myself to believe it was true because, that's what we're told. It is all true, right? And what I always say is, either man made the mistakes or God made the mistakes. But there's mistakes here. Somebody made them. It's God. If you think this is all the inspired, breathed out word of God, well, either God made a lot of mistakes or man made a lot of mistakes. But somebody made the mistakes. Now, there's no external support for Herod's murder of the children. I've said this before too, because I've looked in the first history century. There is no record of Herod murdering all the children. Josephus would have loved to wrote about this. If it happened, Josephus, and there's others first century historians and people that were taking records and writing everything down, they would have, we would have heard all about it. Herod did a lot of horrible things, and they wrote every one of them down, and they didn't forget that all these babies got killed. I mean, there's no record of it. In Matthew 2:16, and you know why? Because they added it. And why would they add this? Well, if you remember right, Matthew's story of Jesus being born that's like a 2-hour matinee made for TV movie, because it's so different. Luke's is like, I don't know, Luke's is like a 30-minute show that you watch on TV. And Matthew is more like a 2-hour movie on TV. It's two completely different stories. You wouldn't even think they're talking about the same person, the same baby being born, nothing. Two completely different stories, Matthew and Luke. Man. And I believe both of them were added later, after, because Mark is original. That doesn't have nothing about no baby being born. Mark starts out Jesus as a full-grown man, 30 years old, starting a ministry. But when you get all these mistakes later, it's because, why is all these mistakes? Because Matthew's adding his stuff, Luke's adding his stuff, and they're not checking each other's notes. You know what I'm saying? So Matthew's got this big story of how just think about it. Of course, these people in Rome writing, they're in Greek, writing in Greek. They're in Rome, wherever they are, filled with Roman pagan ideas and myths and all this stuff. They're both writing away. And Matthew's got the magi, the magicians, they're going looking for him, and they're following a star because they are astrologists, magicians, astrologists. They're astrologists, and they're following the star over the whole country. And then the star, I don't know, they get lost or they don't really know if the star is going the right way. So they got to stop in Jerusalem and ask the king if he knows anyway, the king gets, so now the king's involved, and the king's going to go kill all the babies. And wait a minute, Luke, this is not Luke's story. Oh, but there's more. There's more? Yeah. God told him to get out of there. And then all the babies, the 2-year-olds got killed. Okay, wouldn't you think, hey, wait a minute. So angel comes and says, get the baby out of here. Herod's trying to kill all the 2-year-olds. Wouldn't you warn all the other parents of the 2-year-olds, hey, get your 2-year-old kids out of here. Herod's going to come kill them all. Like, no, they just take their baby and run. I don't know. Anyway, there's and then they go into Egypt. Okay, now Jesus and then Mom, Mary and Joseph is in Africa. Yeah, because in Hosea, it said, out of Africa or out of Egypt, I call my son. And then the next line says Israel, or the next word. Oh, boy. They're trying to. Anyway, that's so much to get into. I'm not even going to. You guys know. Anyway. But there's no records to support anything. And then they go down to Africa. And then, I don't know, then finally, Jesus is a toddler. He's 2.5 years old when the magicians finally show up. And anyway, they start following the star and the magicians, and they're just like, what? And the crazy thing is, all Luke did was just go down to Bethlehem, because both Matthew and Luke, for some reason, they took the Old Testament prophecy wrong. The Messiah is supposed to come from the bloodline of David, not the hometown of David. But Matthew and Luke, the authors of Matthew and Luke, seem to think for some reason that the Messiah has to come from the hometown of David, King David, not the bloodline. So anyway, Matthew and Luke both have him get down to Bethlehem for really no reason, because the Messiah is not going to come from Bethlehem. They could if they want, but there has to be the bloodline of David. You could come from France if you're the bloodline of David. It doesn't matter. If you're the bloodline of David, then that's part of the requirement. Anyway, hey Sandra, how you doing tonight? So, and then Luke, of course, they just go down to Bethlehem, have the baby, on the 8th day, get him circumcised, and go back to Nazareth, happily ever after. But in Matthew, oh heck no, you got 2 years of running. It's like a Tom Cruise movie, or you know what it is? It's like Indiana Jones, Temple of Doom. Anyway, you get to see it tonight, Sandra. But there is no external support for Herod's murder of the children. What in the hell? What are you doing? My goodness, my animals are just out of control tonight. All right. In Matthew 2:16, the records of Herod, that Herod ordered the execution of all children under 2 years of age in Bethlehem. No records. This event is not recorded in secular history. The Jewish historian Josephus, in his book Antiquities of the Jews, has a long history of Herod and his crimes. Massacre at Bethlehem is not among them. So here you can read this book here that Josephus has got. It's his list of crimes that Herod did. I mean, he wrote down everything Herod did. He was glad to write it down. And you don't think he would have wrote that Herod ordered the deaths of all these babies? Anyway. Matthew refers to an unknown prophecy. Now, Matthew 2:23, this is a made-up prophecy. There's no prophecy like this. And he came and dwelt in a city called Nazareth, that it might be fulfilled, which was spoken by the prophets. He should be called a Nazarene. Do you guys know? This is nowhere in prophecy. There's not one where I challenge you. I'll give you $100. Go find a prophecy where the Messiah is going to be called a Nazarene. It's not there. I guess I could say I could give you $1 million because you ain't going to find it. There's nowhere that says the Messiah would be called a Nazarene. It's just made up. This prophecy is not recorded anywhere in the Old Testament. That's right. Now, Matthew misunderstood the Old Testament prophecy very, very much. These are not Jews that are writing these Gospels. These are Romans and writing in Greek. So they don't know Old Testament prophecy. They don't know anything about this. That's why they're making up they're adding all this Greek mythology into the story of Jesus, because they don't know the Old Testament. They hear stuff just like people now hear stuff. And we've talked about this from Matthew 21. Jesus tells his disciples to fetch an ass and a colt to fulfill Old Testament prophecy. This is in Zechariah right here in 9:9. Rejoice greatly, O daughter of Zion. Shout, O daughter of Jerusalem. Behold, thy king cometh unto thee. He is just and waving and having salvation, lowly, riding upon an ass, upon the colt of the foal of an ass. Now, Matthew thinks they're talking about two different donkeys. They're not. It's talking about a baby donkey that's never been rode, not the mom and the donkey. So in Matthew, he misunderstands it, and he has them bringing the mom and the baby donkey. So Jesus has to ride him in both. He has to ride two animals in the triumphal entry. The word "and" in this sense means even, and should be translated, interpreted as the first object. Yeah. So it doesn't mean they got, two different animals. It means it's not only a donkey, but it's an unrode baby donkey, not two donkeys. Anyway. So then they just go through different translations. Matthew misunderstood the meaning of the passage and has Christ riding on two animals. You see, Mark got it right, and I think Luke got it right. But Matthew, he's riding on two animals. You ever go to those rodeos? I went to a horse rodeo, And I saw somebody, a woman that was riding on two horses. She had one foot on one horse, another foot on another horse, going around the circle. All right, maybe that's what they thought was happening. All right, so it's only one animal, but you can see Mark, Luke, and John. Mark, Luke, and John got it right, but Matthew said it's two animals. Matthew misapplies an Old Testament passage about a virgin being with child. Now, in the Old Testament, we've gone over this a lot of time. Virgin means young woman. Young woman. That's a virgin. But Matthew thought virgin meant, because in Rome, a virgin meant a woman that's never been with a man. But the people in the Old Testament that actually wrote the old prophecy, all the Old Testament that they're trying to get these prophecies to fit, a virgin means young woman, but they thought it meant, so now you got Mary, the young woman. Instead of Mary, a young woman having a baby, now you got Mary, a virgin that never been with a man, having a baby. It's two different things. Firstly, the Old Testament passage that Matthew referred to is Isaiah 7:4. Does not contain the word virgin. It uses the Hebrew word alma, which simply denotes a young female and does not have anything to do with his sexual purity. The Hebrew word for virgin was Bethula, which is used by Isaiah in 62:5. Matthew followed the lead of the Greek Septuagint in mistranslating Alma. Secondly, this prophecy has immediate application in its own context. Isaiah used the sign of a young pregnant woman whom both he and King Asa knew. He prophesied that before the child reached the age of accountability in 716, both Syria and Israel would be conquered. There's no indication in the text that this prophecy would be a future fulfillment. No. Finally, Jesus was never called Emmanuel by his parents or anyone else. Remember, they said that the boy, his name would be called Emmanuel. Well, he was never called Emmanuel. Not once. And by the way, they said his mother would name him Emmanuel. Anyway, where are we doing? We're at 52 minutes. All right, I'm going to get back into the chat. She's very careful with money, so she still gets aggravated when she thinks of the cost. Yeah, that's a lot. Especially, now they got those, you get like a hot tub in there, what I mean? And my parents had one at their house. That a nice hot tub that you step down into. You walked down into it, and then above the tub there was a skylight where you could look at the sky, the stars, or whatever. Good evening to Sandra. What do you guys want? You're actually all weird. Stop it. All right. Anyway, good to see Sandra tonight. That emoji looks like Mark. It got a fat head. I'm already a gillionaire. Silly internet service commercials. Gajillionaire. I love that other one you sent with my coffee. It cracks me up, Grace. By the way, Fart Hardy just posted a video of a few seconds ago apologizing for all the harm he's caused. Yeah, right. And promising to reimburse all the money his scammer stole from others. Don't check this test. Yeah. Wow, good. I guess I can take my channel down. I won't even check. I'll just remove my channel. He has repented. Yay, he repented. It's a miracle. It's a Christmas miracle. It's a Festivus miracle, if nothing else. Anybody want to chat? I'll put up a link if anyone wants to come in and chat. Otherwise, you know the drill. Nobody comes in and chat. I'll just wrap it up and go strip some wallpaper off of something. You know what I'm saying? That's right. Now I got the rest of my hallway. I got a little bit left of my hallway, and then my living room is next. If anyone wants to chat, you can chat. Yeah. Sure he did. Yeah, right? That's right, Sandra. Sure he did. He just apologized. Wow. Is there an apology to me, Donnie? Did he say me? Kathy, you said Christmas. That's it. You're out of here. Block. Oh, I just got blocked. Yeah, you can recommend somebody, and if they use humor, if they use humor in their teaching, then they get blocked. But Mark can recommend somebody who not only says you can take the mark of the beast, but also it's okay to take the, you know what, that Mark condemns everybody else for. He actually told a 14-year-old child that she's going to go to hell because she had the, you know what. But this guy, this McCarthy guy, gets a free pass. He can take it, and first one Mark okayed that he can take it, and also take the mark of the beast too. Might as well. Darn it, he just removed it. Forgot to screen. Oh, you should have screen captured that. Oh, I knew he'd change his mind. Well, I'm glad I didn't take my channel down. Mark Harvey be the first in line for the mark of the beast again. Yeah, you're right, Mark. Hey, Sandra, I think he's already in line for the mark. He is Mark of the beast. Let's put that. Okay, everyone deserves a second chance, but don't you dare say have a good day or block. Yeah, that's right. And if you say have a blessed day or ask for prayer, you'll get blocked. Yeah. Yeah, I just put up a video where he's actually arguing with his own self. His 2016 self is arguing with his 2023 self. The past Mark is arguing with the future Mark. So on top of everything, he's a line god. Final say, oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, somebody came in and recommended that they check out this guy, and the guy is a doctor, and him and his wife use silly little things to teach the gospel or whatever. And he didn't like it because he doesn't like humor, so he blocked that guy, and that guy was on his channel for a long time. You know what his name was? His name was Seed Planner 444 Greg. And you know what he changed his name to now? The same guy, his name is, he got blocked off my channel. Now his name is Abominable Snowman 444. Kid you not. Abominable Snowman. I screen captured it. Yeah, he changed his name. He's not a seed planter anymore. Mark has destroyed his confidence. He's now Abominable Snowman. Oh, it's hot in here. Anyway. Yeah, he is a line cutter. That's right. No second chances with him. Well, with other people. But the same day, he recommends McCarthy. I mean, who doesn't know McCarthy did that? I mean, that's the only way I know who McCarthy is, because I heard about him recommending the mark of the beast. Oh, well, and you know what he said? John McCarthy said, well, the tribulation is 7 years long, and you'll have time to repent. Now, who said the tribulation is 7 years long? Nowhere does it say tribulation is 7 years long. It's 3.5. They say it 3 different times. They say it's 3.5 years. They say it's times, and half of times, and they say it's whatever. But they say it 3 times that it's 3.5 years. 42 months, 3.5 years, times and half time. That's 3.5 years. They say it 3 different times. How do people get the tribulation is going to be 7 years? And spoiler alert, I don't believe it's coming at all. I think it already happened in the fall of Jerusalem. Does that make me a preterist? No. You know why? Because a preterist has to believe that the fall of Jerusalem, that the Gospels are prophecy. Well, no, that's not prophecy if you write it 40 years after it happened. Some say it's 14 years. Oh, it's getting longer. Okay, so if today Kathy writes a book, if I wrote a book today and it's called Gospel According to Kathy, and in my gospel I'm writing today in 2023, January 2023, I'm writing this gospel of Kathy, and Kathy said that someday the planes are going to fly over to New York City and smash into the Twin Towers. And they're going to be airplanes and they're going to just fall over and then it'll change a bunch of laws and stuff, and then they're going to build one tower where 2 used to be. All right, and then I published my book January 2023, published by Kathy, Prophecy. And then 20 years from now or 40 years from now, somebody finds my book, says, wow, look at this prophecy from Kathy. It says January 2023, she predicted the fall of the Twin Towers in New York City on 9/11. Now, how can Kathy have written prophecy in 2023 when it already happened? How long ago? 22 years ago? If you write about it after it's happened, it's not prophecy. What you're doing is recording history. All the Gospels were written a long time after, anywhere from... The only thing written before the fall of Jerusalem was Paul's letters. Everything else was after the fall of Jerusalem. So if you write about the fall of Jerusalem after it already fell, that's not prophecy, folks. That's called recording history. Yeah. Come on, join the phone booth. I'm over my quota. Oh, no, you're not, Donnie. There's no quota here. Anybody can join. 14 years. Where are they getting this? Mark has predicted the end, the final days. Rapture's happening right now since 2014. Yes, it is right now. It already happened. I say it's 400 score in 2 days and 6 hours, 11 minutes, 8 seconds, 111 milliseconds. Well, you're supposed to predict it after it happened, Donnie. That way you can be called a prophet. Now I'm in the history books. Me too. Okay, I just predicted 9/11 happened. You see what I just did? I am a prophet. So, yeah, 100 years from now, you can all call Kathy a prophet. She wrote Twin Towers, New York on 9/11, even though she wrote about it 22 years after. Well, these guys are writing about it 20 years after. Leland Jones is the one that says, oh, really? He's a real winner. What a jerk. And you know what? He took his, did you notice that he led everybody on for, I don't know, years? And then he said it was going to happen in 2020, in May 14, 2020 or something. It never happened. What happened after May 14, 2020? Well, I think May 10th, he took his channel down right before that. They all do that. They lead people on. They live off everybody. They parasite and they live off of everybody's money for years. And then they have a date. And when the date doesn't come right before the date, they disappear. Same thing with the people that said the planet was going to explode. Paul Begley's friends. And Mark, and then you get all these people like Mark Hardy and all these other people who believe it. And then they go tell everybody the planet's going to explode in May of 2018 or May of 2019. The planet's going to explode and the sun will turn into a dot and blah, 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 blah. Because I saw it on YouTube. Idiots. Okay, well, how do you feel when you walk into the restaurant now? The sun was supposed to explode. The planet was supposed to explode, what, 3 years ago? And now you're still in there eating like a damn fool? Everybody knows you're a damn fool. You're an idiot. All right. Hey, Donnie, how you doing tonight? Yeah, what happened to sun turning into a dot like the great prophet prophesied? Cynthia backed up his claim. Yes, she did. She backed him up. Sun's still out there. Didn't turn into a dot. You were thinking the same. Exactly. Going to bed now. Good night. Good night, D. Thanks for coming in. It was nice.
Night, D. Glad you had a good day with your sister.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll be right back, Kathy. I'm gonna check on Mom, just get everything, all my ducks, and
Yeah. All right. Anyway, yeah. So yeah, I'm not a preterist or a partial preterist or anything else. And by the way, you notice the little dweeb hasn't come over here ever since he pulled his pants down and showed his true self. You know why? He loves going around kicking sand in people's face, but you know what happens once in a while when a bully kicks the sand in the wrong person's face? Then the bully stands up and says, "What did you just do?" And then the bully says, "I didn't do nothing," and they run away. He has nothing. Well, I got some stuff for him. I got a challenge. I think tonight I'm gonna put out the challenge to Teacher Boy. I got a challenge for Teacher Boy. I'm telling him to come in here and take my challenge, and he won't come in and take my challenge, and he hasn't come back since. Well, I got a challenge for Teacher Boy. I'm gonna put it out on a video, and probably when I get off of here. Anyway, yeah, called the Teacher Boy Challenge. It's much harder than eating a doggone potato chip that's got some spice on it. Actually, you know what? I might have more than one challenge. How about that? I could have 2 challenges for him. I am going to. You're right, Grace. I think I should do it tonight. I had a little nap. I'm feeling energetic. I think when I get off here, I'm going to have enough energy to put up my challenge. Is it the blue chip challenge? No, you wish it was. No. It's more like the Teacher Boy challenge. He'll find out. All right. Come on, Grace, Sandra. Everybody, file in. Come on in. Come have a chit chat. Yeah, I think I'm going to put up my challenge. I think I should. Because, you know what I noticed? I think I only watched him once or twice. But what I have noticed is that whenever he quotes Bible verses, he doesn't know any of them. Isn't that any of those Bible verses you're trying to quote? Aren't any of them in your 250 list of 250 Bible verses that you know what I'm saying? Anyway, yes, Teacher Boy. And it must be pretty embarrassing. Like you go around kicking sand in people's face like a bully. And then you go kick sand in a girl's face and she stands up and pounds you into the ground like a little nail. And then hands your ass to you. I mean, I'm sure it is embarrassing. You know what I mean? I'm sure, you would probably disappear and not come back. Not ain't coming to this beach again. Come over here and kick sand in our face again. I would love it. Anyway, where's Teacher Boy? Anyway, we'll see what Donnie has to say. Might want to put some studs or something on those bottom of those cowboy boots. I remember I had like pointy little girl cowboy boots when I was a kid. And I remember sliding down the driveway on those things. They were just like skis. Oh, really? I'm listening. I'm putting sheets on my bed, but I'm listening. Okay, Sandra. Nothing like fresh sheets, huh? I love clean sheets. Oh, Kathy, I was going to tell you the other day, 2 random people used the word wheelhouse when talking to me. You know what? I just saw it again. What is going on here? I knew that was or uncorking a bottle when they did that. That lady said it 3 times. I'm like, oh, this ain't good. This ain't good. And I got home and somebody was using it, and another person. Yeah, they're spreading that wheelhouse for some reason. So weird. But then, yeah, then I'm in another chat and I saw the word wheelhouse. So I've seen it 2 more times. Wheelhouse, wheelhouse, wheelhouse. And now you saw it twice. See, it's not in my wheelhouse. Let's see. I gotta come up with a conversation where I can use the word wheelhouse. Let's see. I'll start a conversation about air fryers or something. Yeah, I like air fryers. Do you like air fryers? I like air fryers.
I like
It's
air
not-
fryers.
It's not really in my wheelhouse. Donnie, do you like what's your wheelhouse? It's not my wheelhouse.
Wait, I have a house.
You have a house? Is it shaped like a wheel? Because I think that's a new thing now, wheelhouse.
Well, I guess that's better than a shoe, according to fairy tales.
Yeah. Well, I'd rather live in a wheelhouse than a zoo also, because zoos can be really stinky. And it depends whose zoo you're really living in.
Right, because it's a wheel, because it kind of gets daily aired out, because it's moving.
Yes, and I think if it moves, I think it does stay aired out a lot better when it's moving than rather than a musty old stew that's probably got some diseases or something.
But I'm going to be going through my Dramamine like all the time, but I think it's worth it.
Well, just make sure that they use the word wheelhouse every day.
Okay.
Wheelhouse isn't in my wheelhouse either. I have no wheelhouses with the word wheelhouse. I don't even know how to use the word wheelhouse. I could live in a wheelhouse. I mean, it would be interesting. You wake up one day, the door is over here, and you wake up the next day, the door is over there. You don't know where the door is.
I know what they call those now. It's a mobile home.
Oh, that's what they call mobile homes because they spin because they're on there's some type of a wheel or something.
So I think they're basically just saying it's not in their mobile home house.
Oh, I see. It all makes sense now. I didn't know that was really where the wheelhouse came from. I guess that where it originated from, wheelhouse. Yes. Come on in, Sandra and Grace.
This was brought to you in part by Wheelhouse. They have wheels.
And a house.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, honestly, if I had to choose between the two.
Okay, who talks like that? Who are we imitating? You know who I'm imitating, Sandra. Go ahead.
I'm gonna go with. I got nothing. I got nothing on that one. Yeah. No.
Yeah.
Was it a guy that just recently apologized and really repented and immediately removed it before I could get a screenshot?
Oh, that repentance video. Oh,
yeah,
I know.
dude.
See,
I mean, it brought a tear. I'm like, oh, I'm trying to type so fast. I'm like, oh my God, guys, you won't believe what just happened.
Man.
And I go back to just like double check. It's gone. And I just removed my user. So
I've been removed from the uploader.
Yeah.
Maybe YouTube flagged it. It was just too emotional. We had too many tears.
YouTube said this is out of his wheelhouse. We cannot allow this. It's going to confuse people.
Yeah. Something's definitely wrong here. He's never apologized for anything in his life. This has got to be an imposter. What's going on here?
You have people drinking too much Kool-Aid and running off cliffs. Like, what? Mark's repented? No.
Yeah. They knew it would start a riot.
Yeah, they had to disseminate the information.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I figures he put it up while I'm busy over here, so I wasn't able to record.
Oh yeah,
it.
like he probably waited till the second. Sandra got in there. He's like, all right, I've got my top, people I've got to
Yeah.
worry about on my.
Yeah, we're all busy. We're looking the other way. He's over
So,
there apologizing for everything.
I
And
was
then
in the
what? He
restroom
had-
just for a second. I was looking up fish taco, recipes. You know me and fish tacos. So
well,
you
well,
believe me, don't you?
yeah.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, totally. No. Well, I
I'm
don't
sure
know.
the
I know
demons
sometimes
probably
the
took over.
demons. Go ahead.
No, I said probably the demons talked him out of the apology, and he.
Those
She
demons
does-
work quickly. that was rather quick.
Yeah, it's funny because he admits that he's got demons going in and out of him at all times.
Dude,
Because
while
he's a temp-
driving, that's just insult to injury.
I know. It is dangerous. It is dangerous. Yeah, did anybody see Grace's video on his driving? It took a lot. There's a lot of clips. I do appreciate how much work that is to get all those clips. But yeah, he's had accidents. He's had lots of tickets, all kinds of stuff.
I don't know if you saw Sandra, but about a couple of weeks ago, he was, I guess every video, I mean, pretty much we could call it 95% he's driving. Anywho, I was trying to like say something very polite, but also address the elephant in the room, which is his driving over and over, et cetera, how dangerous that is. So I said it just right. I was like, hey man, Joy, I can't quite remember what I said, but I was like, careful while driving, while live streaming, it can be dangerous for you. But here was the kicker in your message.
Oh, I think I saw that.
Yeah. And he was like, I don't think he
saw
said
that
anything. He liked it and he loved it.
Yeah, because many people have told him to stop driving live streaming. It is against the law too.
Well, yeah,
But
I was just trying to tell
really
him exactly
unsafe.
what I wanted to say. And I figured that last word would just be
Yeah.
like his ego going, oh, he's just, worried about my message, not other humans, God forbid.
Yeah. Yeah, it does take. I guess it's more dangerous than a drunk driver. All the time when I'm in that. The only time I hear any radio or TV is when I go ride into town in my truck, and it's just like almost every time I ride to town, I hear that commercial. You are 25 more times likely, or 250 times, or whatever it is, more likely to
It's a
get in an
lot.
accident. It's a lot. With just I don't know, one look at your phone or whatever.
Yeah.
But every time I go to town, I hear that commercial and thinking, wow, and it is, the stats are worse than drunk driving.
Oh, I can tell you, I don't do much driving like I used to, but when I was working for Goodwill in Austin traffic, I don't know if you guys know, Austin traffic is infamously horrible and has been for decades. But yeah, you see it, you just know immediately. You can see the signs, they're swerving a little bit, you just know it, it's middle of the day.
Yeah.
You can tell the drunk between the idiot. Well, they're both idiots, but you know what I mean.
Yeah. Probably from behind, and a cop, it probably looks the same
Yeah.
over the line a little bit. You know what I mean? Especially when they're at the stoplight and they don't go and they're texting. The
Yeah.
light turns green and they're just sitting there. Come on, man. I know you're
'Cause
texting.
I did more driving today than I've done. Well, I guess it's the last time I visited my sister when they were still building. But it's toll roads, it's like an hour and 10 minutes, if you're not in traffic or back roads. But still, it's a heck of a drive when you don't do it like I used to. And just, at 85 miles an hour on a toll road, you got to be fully aware. You're not just looking ahead of you. You got to plan ahead, keep distance, watch the idiots coming behind you that are street racing, which happened actually. Yeah, it was crazy. And it was really windy. And in Texas, there's not a lot of windbreak. There's a lot of just open plains, for lack of a better word. But dude, it was super, super windy. Oh my gosh. I could not take my eyes. Yeah.
I remember that about Texas. That's why you guys got those tumbleweeds and stuff, because I remember I've gone through Texas and it was
because it was a beautiful day. The toll road wasn't busy, but I had to keep both hands and eyes on the wheel at all times. Just like I was driving at night in a thunderstorm where I couldn't see 10 feet in front of me. I was having to be that, self-aware. Because the semis were having trouble. Everybody's having trouble. Like everybody's kind of like swerving just a little bit, but you just do it with the wind. Yeah. That's
Yep.
crazy.
Chris says, "What is Amish?" Yeah, he thinks the Amish are called Amish. You got some Amish butter. He
Oh,
likes
great.
copying me. I was talking about Amish. Actually, it's Amish. We have a lot of Amish here, and they make awesome stuff. But the stores up here have Amish butter. It comes like 2 pound big chunk, and it's in wax paper. But it is the most delicious butter.
And do you know
Anyway,
where
I
you
was
got Caleb?
yeah, at the Amish farm.
Yeah, I heard that.
No,
last night.
actually, that's not where I get it. That's not where I get the butter. The butter is actually at the store from the local. Anyway, we got different Amish butter up here, a couple different kinds because we got Amish up here. But they just a big chunk. And I've told people what I do is just kind of take a piece and put it in the butter dish. And I put it in the cupboard because
Is
it'll
it a
stay
certain
good
kind of
forever.
butter? Like, what does normal butter come from?
And
milk?
it's all from cows, from cream, heavy cream.
Okay, so not like goat
And
butter or something.
well, you actually there is
I would assume, yeah.
probably something like that, but this is all cow cheese. It's just way better. And I don't know if you ever remember, like back in the old days, the butter tasted better. It almost tasted like cheese. Remember that? But anyway, it just has a special, awesome taste. Well, guess who had to get Amish butter yesterday? Oh, but he's gonna go get Amish butter. Oh, here's Amish butter. I gotta buy Amish butter.
Dude, where
Yeah.
is he constantly going? Like, how many errands does one human being have to run in
No,
a day?
he drives an hour from La Follette down to Knoxville to go eat breakfast. Then
Really? He drives an hour
Yep.
to go eat breakfast? Dude, I
Yep.
told my sister she's coming to see me next month because I don't want to have to do that hour drive again.
every
Oh my
day.
God.
Yep. But yeah, he does the hour drive down there. Goes to breakfast, then he goes shopping at the most expensive stores he can for food. He'll get like 3 items for $50 and brag about it. Oh man, just the milk and some this and this, it was $50 when you know dang well it should be 10, you know what I mean? Anyway, then he probably goes out to eat lunch, either there or whatever. Then he drives all the way back. Then he fills his tank back up. He uses a half a tank of gas a day, eats out breakfast and lunch, and goes shopping. And then he drives home and he sleeps and watch videos.
Hold on. My mom has a car similar to his, good gas mileage. And just that, hour drive there and back was like, took 3/4 of our tank. Like it's on empty now.
Really? Yeah, because he does. He fills the tank up every day when he gets back before he goes back.
It would take it. Yeah,
you'll,
it'd take it.
you'll see him. Yep, you'll see him. He has to fill the tank back up. So he uses probably a whole tank of gas.
And if he would like had some big truck or, a V8, oh my gosh, almost times that time and a half.
Yeah, that's what I got. I got a 3-ton truck.
I've
And,
only got probably I don't know what my truck tonnage is. I know it's an extended cab, pickup F-150, but it's got a V8 that, it's nice, but it'll drink.
Yep, mine too. In fact, my pickup actually even uses more gas, and it's only a 1-ton. So
Are
yeah,
they both unleaded or
started.
they both dualies? I mean, not dualies, but
Well,
diesel.
No, they're both gas. My
Okay.
but if I go down
Weird.
to the cities, it's an hour. It's an hour. It's about the same drive, about an hour down there and back. It's right there. It's $40. Easy, maybe 50, 60 when the gas was high.
Yeah. And for the
Yeah.
people in the listening in the after stream or whatever, when she says the cities, that means the Twin Cities.
Oh yeah, yeah. I should yeah, because I know I'm used to saying that people in Minnesota we know it, but yeah, that's the Twin Cities. I live up in northern Minnesota. We call the Twin Cities St. Paul, Minneapolis, the Twin
Gotcha.
Cities. So.
Yeah. I remember I've heard it, but it just took me a minute to put it together.
And not like I go down there and hit St. Paul and Minneapolis. They're kind of connected together. they're the river actually separates the two. But anyway, I
Yeah, I
just call
drove
it the
through there
city.
once years ago on a obviously a road trip. I wasn't on business. I was like 14.
Yeah, yeah. But it's a lot of gas. So just imagine that eating breakfast out, a full tank of gas,
Yeah, that can be
breakfast,
like
lunch.
$30. Like if you like really tip well and don't hold
Yep,
back, drink a couple of,
yeah.
Cokes.
Which he does. He doesn't hold back on the
I remember you
ordering.
saying, yes, and that's expensive at a
Yep.
restaurant, dude. A Coke is like $3.
And then he always spends 50 at the grocery store, and then he eats lunch out, and then he goes home. So full tank of gas, 30 for breakfast. I don't know, for lunch, 50 at the grocery store, and then yeah, go fill the tank again. Yeah, the people up north, like Grace's dad and me, people that live way out of the city, we call it the shitties. Grace's dad calls it the shitties, and now I call it the
Language,
shit.
my gosh, Kathy,
I know. Soap in the mouth.
kiss your mother with that. What was I
Grace
gonna
taught me
say?
that.
That figures potty mouth Grace. Of course, when she says it, it's so adorable. She's like, "Shitties," or I can't do a Minnesota accent. Sorry. When she cusses, like you can
Shitties.
hardly tell. I cuss. It sounds like I just insulted your mother. I just said the S word. Yeah, well, don't do it again because I'm upset now. I'm like, all right, fine, I won't say it again.
He gives those messages of heart, and he continues with the pedal to the metal. Yeah, thanks, Donnie.
Yeah, he is so confusing, man. Like he's trying to be like keep up with the Kardashians while he's like trying to like be like the guy going, to jail, running a super church, wearing gold, flying in,
I know.
like what?
Bad.
Pick a like a. He's just so weird.
And he doesn't have his diabetes in control. He is always tired. Sleepy drivers are just as dangerous as drunk drivers. That's
Dude,
right.
I honestly I gotta watch myself. You know what I actually thought of today? No,
Mm.
I'll say this in the after stream. Just remind me. I don't want to say this on the live stream. Just like I gotta, because I'm like I'm getting with you guys. I'm like, man, this guy just, like normally I would worry about diabetes, but just put it this way, with him I don't. I'm like that just don't that doesn't sit well when I'm trying to sleep at night. I'm like, all right, come on, let's not take it personally. I'm taking it personally.
Sanders says, dang, it takes forever to make up a king size bed. I feel like I walked around the world and back. Kind of wish I had my full size, but yeah, I have a queen. Me and the donkeys have a queen.
I've got a queen. I break a sweat too, Sandra. I'm 47. It's work, man, if you can do it right. You got nobody to hold the other side. If you don't get it just right, you're walking around 3, 4 times. It's a whole thing.
Yes.
I'm with you, Sandra.
Sanders says, easy to make your own butter. Just get you some buttermilk. That's right. Love buttermilk. You have some heavy cream buttermilk, and you actually, you know what? It even works. I saw a guy make butter in a blender with the heavy cream, the buttermilk, and he just put it on, and it just ended up with butter. I mean, what the heck? Or maybe it was a
My
food
grandfather
process.
loved buttermilk. Oh, I hated the smell. Oh, he would forget to like wipe his brow, when he would drink it. Oh man, he loved his buttermilk.
Oh yeah.
It's funny, like I like things that like buttermilk biscuits, whatever you like, but I don't know. He was really healthy. Like I told you, he had his own garden. We ate fresh. He home cooked. He was a lot like the way that you seem to be, like the way you cook, and make sure you're careful what you put in your body. Drink a lot of water. Didn't drink any sodas. Didn't smoke. What was the thing? But like the cereals we were talking about, like he was big on that. Like he had fresh fruit from his garden, blueberries, strawberries, banana. Like, and he had banana trees. I would have white, they call them rice checks, like with the most healthy cereal available.
Yeah.
And he put a little like raw oatmeal at the bottom, and put a little wheat germ and a glass of orange juice for me. It started around. Like I ate healthy. Like I wasn't allowed Cheerios or anything. And trust me, I didn't need it. Like I'd have just been bouncing off the walls. I guess he knew I was going to be 6'3" one day. I didn't. He's like, "You're going to fill out one day. You're going to need this nutrition." Yeah, if they're up for the after chat, I mean, I'm in no rush. But I know sometimes they don't like to join the live streams. Hint, hint.
Yeah. Well, I'm at an hour and 30 minutes. I could cut it off here. What I want to go through. So yeah, I could cut it off. Ladies want to come in? Grace and Sandra, you want to come in and chat? I'll put up the link again. And Dee went to bed, I think. She said she went to bed. So yeah.
At least she wonders this time. We're like, D. Grace is like, I think she went to bed.
Yeah, all expenses goes to Cynthia, of course. He uses her credit card. Yeah, imagine that. Can you imagine watching some slob leave at 3:00 every morning in a car that you have to lease for him and pay the insurance for, and he has a full tank of gas while he goes out to dinner. Goes out to breakfast.
Do you know how much that is? Like,
day.
just off top of my head, that's about it. Probably between $2,000 and $3,000 a month, and that's just what you've told me. Nothing else. Like if he goes and buys clothes, if he buys something on Amazon, dude, that is
constantly buying $30 phone cords. This new phone.
$1,000 does not go as far as it used to. Like I know how far $1,000 used to go, but
yeah, I know.
It's like my mom lets me use the card for certain things, like when I go get grocery, gas, cigarettes. No, she wants to buy something once in a blue moon, but just like normal living, me still cooking, most of our meals, eating out maybe once, twice a week,
Yeah.
I mean, the money goes. You have we have like YouTube, or not YouTube, but we have like streaming services. It's the little things you think, don't matter, but they add up, dude. They add up.
And so she's paying her lease vehicle. These are like 2- and 3-year-old cars. So she's paying hers and his 2 leased vehicles, both the insurance.
Lease?
Yeah, she leased them both.
Oh,
yes.
Dude, she does just not care about her money at all.
And Donnie, you can only get like 12,000, put 12,000 miles a year on a leased car.
You know why I don't know that? Because I've never been, even if I could have afforded it.
I would never have leased a car.
I mean, even to my idiot, 20-year-old brain, I was like, well, that's just
right.
I don't get to keep it.
I've done a years of stupid stuff, the stupidest things, but I still wouldn't even do that.
Like, your brain's just like, okay, look, idiot. All right, we've allowed you to indulge yourself in these other stupid adventures, but not this one.
But you got to draw the line somewhere, man. And leasing a car is where I drew the line. Yeah,
Speaking
I wonder
of
what
which,
insurance rates are with all those speeding tickets and accidents. Yeah, imagine the insurance.
If he's being like legal to a lot, I don't know. Just like, is he legal? Does he tell you? Does he like say I have insurance?
Well, she pays it all. Yeah, she pays the tickets. She pays the insurance. She pays all.
But he is fully insured. Like that. Like he said it. At least said it. Like
it's
you
a
don't
leased
know
car.
it.
A leased car has to be.
That's right. Yeah. No,
yeah, you have to have it.
Yeah, you just explained it.
Yeah. Anything with a tag attached to it, they ain't gonna let it go on the road without proof of insurance.
I went down a small YouTube wormhole or whatever they call it today, just for a minute. Like, just something comes up, you're like, oh, that's actually kind of interesting. It was just Uber riders refusing, people like, they can only seat 4 people, and a bunch of drunk kids try to seat 5, like just, not winning the conversation. It was fun. It was almost as good as the Karens, but not as good.
Yeah, there's a lot of drama, man, on YouTube. Lots of you can see anything.
Like, I got to be careful with it, because I'll just get all worked up. I love the ones where cops get arrested by cops. Those are just priceless.
Yeah. Poor Dirt Farmer has a lot of those. He's been putting up a lot of those lately. That's somebody I watch sometimes. Poor Dirt Farmer. He's down in Florida.
Shows
that constantly. Just showed a young, pretty blonde cop that just got arrested drunk.
Oh yeah, they'd be
And
like
another,
mayors, chief of police,
yeah,
like
uh, yeah.
if they wanted those
Usually they
cameras
get
everywhere. Well, careful what you wish for, because like it's so obvious. Like in most of them, I mean, a lot of them, you could like if you just listen, like they're like, "There's nothing I can do, man. Cameras are rolling. There's 3 cars here. Nothing I can do. Oh, come on, man. Could you just drive me home? I can't do
right.
that, man. Like they're like you can tell the good old boy system is still there. They just can't do it because of the stupid cameras.
Yeah.
I,
Yeah,
I
he
don't
can
mean to be
crash
like
cars all
biased.
day, and yeah, and Cynthia will pay for it. That's right, Sandra. She's just as guilty. If he kills somebody, she's just got the blood on her hands just as much. Because yeah, she keeps getting him another car, hand him the keys, another car, hand him the keys. He smashed up 4 cars or 2 in the last 2 months or whatever, 3 months.
I mean, her
Yeah,
hands aren't clean. That's for
no,
sure.
not at
You
all.
know,
Yeah,
but you could
that's
say you
right.
could you
That
could
is
say
why.
that about my mom enabling me.
That's why
But
Cynthia looks like the life is sucked out of her. That's right. Because she's criminally liable just as much.
does she have a
I mean,
YouTube
somebody's
channel?
out.
How do you know what she looks
Oh
like?
yeah, yeah. She's got
Okay.
a YouTube channel, Cynthia Paris. In fact, if you go on my other channel, you can look up videos I've done of her. What he's done to her, like in 4 years, sucked the life out of her. She used to be kind of decent for. She's 60 years old. For 60, she looked very young and healthy and very like she had money and everything when he moved into her house exactly 5 years ago next week. It'll be 5 years.
Is she
And
happy?
within a year, oh, she was, yes, very happy. She had a whole life. She had a family, her brothers and sisters, and she had a church, and she had her pastor and all the people at the church, and she had friends everywhere, and she had people down at the diner, and she had her neighbors, and she had a full life, happy. And as soon as he walked in there, he says, "I'm going to show you my demons." And she says, "Oh, I had the pleasure of meeting Mark's demons. Oh, you stick with me. You're going to see all kinds of demonic stuff." And she liked it. Yeah, it sucked the joy out of her too. Yeah, she used to
How
be full
tall
of
is
joy
he?
and everything. Oh, short. I don't know,
Uh,
5'4" or 5'5" or
yeah,
whatever.
he seems like he's got that short guy mentality, like not in a good
Yeah,
way.
yeah. Yeah, she's got a YouTube channel. You can see what he done to her. Oh,
No wonder he's always sitting in a car. You can't see how tall he is.
she went from looking, very young and healthy for her age to looking like an exhumed corpse. You know what I mean? Like something you dug up out of a casket. Suddenly, everyone in her life became evil once he entered her life. Yep, he told her, "Yep, your family's evil. They had to go. The neighbors, they're evil. Got to go. Church is evil. They got to go." And even the church, she asked the pastor to talk to him. She says, "I don't want nothing to do with him or his demons." Yeah, yeah. You just can't make this stuff up. Go look at her YouTube
My
channel.
rational brain is still reaching. So, like, did she ever have a man in her life? Was she lonely?
She was lonely. Yeah,
Okay, so that's one thing. That's no
yeah.
excuse. What about like
And well,
drugs? Is there any chance that he's got her like hooked on
yeah,
some, maybe not
yeah. I
hard
think.
drugs, but like pills, like
Yeah.
anything?
But she did admit that she had an alcohol and prescription drug problem.
That's a big
Uh-huh.
problem. That's not a subtle
Yeah.
problem.
And a problem with fornicating with some guy, and a problem with she used to go to the
What does
bar a lot.
the
Mm-hmm.
fornicating mean? Like what it sounds like it means?
Having sex
Okay, all right. I thought so.
out of marriage.
Okay, all right. I knew there was a specific meaning.
Yeah. So yeah, so she's got her demons and all that, and actually,
right,
you know
well,
what? Just a couple months ago, right after Mark left for Israel, he's supposed to be gone 3 months, so he's gone like a week. She had some kind of a mental snap where she said she blacked out. She did a video on this. She said Mark is gone, so I know it had to be me, but she had like blacked out. she got in such of a rage of anger. She said, I was so angry. I was in such a rage that I blacked out, and she did something. She said she never uses keys. She never locks anything. She doesn't have keys. But somehow she found her keys in a blackout and locked, I don't know, the bunkhouse up or something. So she had to go find the keys. In her rage, she don't remember anything she did. She blacked out. So all of a sudden, the bunkhouse is locked. She's trying to find the keys for it. She finds the keys and she goes in there. All kinds of stuff is done, but she doesn't remember doing. She blacked out in a rage.
Wow,
I
she
mean,
sounds super out of touch reality. Like she sounds like she's
mhm.
very rich or has been rich her whole life. She doesn't use keys. No,
Yeah,
ridiculous. That sounds to a normal human.
I know it does. Yeah. As a matter of fact, yeah, she was living in Martha's Vineyard when he moved in there.
Yeah,
You know where
so,
Martha's Vineyard is, Donnie?
yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
It's where the Kennedys and the Obamas and all the rich people go and live and vacation. Yep, it's an island, and he goes out there, and within a month, he convinced her. 2 months, convinced her to move across the country, away from all her devil relationships. Everybody's evil except him, so convinced her to sell and move out to Tennessee to the hills in these little shacks with him, and on their own admission, she's broke now, and she got $600,000 for her place, and it is
Oh, dude, the
gone.
way he's spending, dude, that
Six
wouldn't
hundred thousand
last.
gone, Johnny. She cashed in
Oh,
her
dude, yeah.
401k, gone. He talked her in a 401k. Now I think they're on credit cards because he says, "Oh, I charged up a bunch on that drip." Yeah,
Okay, well,
because
another
he's
question.
got
Was
her
she kind of
convinced that is.
sheltered? I'm sorry, go
Oh
ahead.
yeah, no doubt, no doubt.
So,
On
like,
Martha's
it sounds
Vineyard,
like
yeah,
she was lonely. She didn't really
yeah.
understand real life. And then here comes this guy that's gonna like,
Uh,
take the reins. And
uh-huh.
is she just
Mm-hmm.
never
And their
having
money,
freedom before? It's like
right?
it's a whole combination of things he just like lucked into.
Yep, yep. The perfect victim.
Right,
Type
yeah.
women that this homeless guy, a guy off the street who didn't even have a place to live. He was living in a vehicle that was broken down.
And she
Yeah,
just
you're gonna
wanted
bring
to
that
be
guy
taken
into your
away
home,
from that little finger, or
and
what she
the
perceived was
strange thing,
control.
yeah, and yeah, remember you can donate to his new scam. I mean fundraiser. Yeah, so now he's trying to get money again.
For
Um,
what? Please tell me. This is gonna be good.
oh,
What?
get this. This time. It's for poor children who don't have food, and it's through the police department. But the police department can't take cash or checks. So if you give him the cash and checks, then he will get the food cards and poor children can eat.
Oh my
Because the
God,
poor children
dude.
don't have parents. Because the poor
Ugh.
children's parents are on drugs and they're in prison and they don't have parents, so the grandparents are probably raising them. So
Yeah, I
the
don't need the
police,
BS story. Like, you just told me everything I need to hear. Like, oh, he'll handle it. Don't worry about government, agencies and, you know,
yeah.
fact checking.
Now, yeah, does the police department know you're collecting money for them? No, he never said nothing. Donnie, she wasn't that lonely. She could have a good life until she let him screw her. Yeah, I
No,
can't even say she was lonely. You're right, Sandra. She had all kinds of people in her life. I mean, she had way fuller life than I did. I mean, full
yeah,
of
I guess
people.
the way I meant that last question was like, I don't know, did she, at least she perceived it, whether that was right or wrong. Sounds like that was wrong, whatever she perceived, that she didn't have control of her life. Do what she wanted to do when she wanted to do it.
Well, yeah, she feels like, oh, Mark's gonna take care. Well, then, okay, so as soon as when he got out to her house, they all were believing in the rapture. They're gonna get raptured any moment, and they were gonna be raptured within 4 weeks of Mark getting there. Okay, well, the rapture did before March 1st. They were gonna be raptured. Well, he gets there at the end of January. He guarantees they're gonna be raptured by March 1st. So it's only gonna be a month, right, for the raptured. So she lets him in the house. There's no rapture March 1st. So within 30 days, he's got her convinced that he said he had a dream and there was two dead guys in the dream, soldiers riding motorcycles, And one of the dead guys said that, warning, we weren't ready for what's coming. And then the other dead guy came and said, you better get ready. Go, little lamb. So he told Cynthia this and told Cynthia that we have to go and get ready and go, bad things coming, and there's death coming. So she believed it and sold her place just as fast as could be. Yeah. And they moved out there because it was the end of the world. Well, that was 5 years ago. They're ending their 5th year, starting the 6th year next week.
It's the end of the world as we know it. Nope, maybe next year. It's gonna be the end of the world. Nope, maybe next year.
Yeah. And so, yeah, I might as well spend all that money. You gotta, he kept saying, let it go, spend that money. It's not going to be worth it. It's going to be worthless. Money's going to be worthless very soon. Get cash in the phone. She cashed in everything. They pissed it away like rock stars. Went on 3 trips to Israel. Just trips after trips after trips, eating in restaurants. I mean, now guess what? She's broke. Now she's on a month-to-month income. She gets some medical thing, probably because she's mental disabled. She gets some medical thing each month now, and he pisses it away as fast as she gets it. I mean,
Yeah. My nephew and niece both have those. Not, they're, just, I don't want to go into that whole story, but I know what you mean. And that's government money, which I thought he didn't approve of. Interesting.
well, when it goes, it's fine.
Oh yeah. Well, he can make exceptions, of course, right?
Yeah, she had.
But yeah, if you want to close it down, I mean,
Yeah,
don't
she
close
gave
it down
up her
if you guys
family
want to
and
keep
all her
talking.
life.
I just
Let
been
go,
like, I
let
know
go.
sometimes
Let
Sandra
all
and
go.
Grace don't want to join the live stream. So if they're willing to join.
Yeah. You want to come in? I'm going to put up I will put up a link right now. Invite, then I'm going to shut it down and you guys can come in and grab that link. Even after I get off of here, you guys can still grab the link and come in. It works.
Yeah, copy the link. Just go to Google. Figure that out.
A little bit. For a little while, at least you can come in. There's the link. If Grace and Sandra, you want to join. Otherwise, yeah, I'm going to shut it down. And and call it. So there's the link. All right, so I'll pray us out. Heavenly Father, thank you for gathering us once again, and we thank you for all of our blessings, and we ask that you lead us through this week and guide us and protect us, our homes, our families, our pets, and we just ask that you protect us and guide us through this week. Amen and amen.
Amen.
All right, so good night to Grace and Sandra. I hope you're coming in. And Pinch, if you're still listening tomorrow. And good night to Dee. And anybody else that came in and listened. All right, there you go. All right, so anyway, there you go, guys. All right, good night, everybody. God bless each and every one of you. Thank you for coming in. Appreciate it. Hope to see you tomorrow night. Have a good rest of the evening, and I hope tomorrow's awesome. Have a great Monday. And hope to see you tomorrow night. Good, everybody. God bless and shalom.